Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to make this cute gift set, and it is a part of a blog hop with Carole Prevost and Melody Lane. You're going to pick up the earring file from Melody Lane. You're going to pick up the box file from Carole Prevost, and I've got the earring cards for you. So this way, once you visited all of our channels and picked up all of your Design Space files, you're going to have endless possibilities for gift sets for the holidays. Now I just wanted to walk you through my portion of the files, which are the earring cards, and the different ways that you can utilize these. They look pretty simple, and I was going to actually use patterns and make them totally different, but then I thought about the fact that there are a lot of iOS users, and I wanted to make this very user-friendly. But if you want to add patterns, you absolutely can. So I'm just going to walk you through some of the different ways that these are set up and the ways that I change them and mix them up a little bit. So the first one we have is this one. If we look over here in the layers panel, we can see that this is a drawn on handmade with love, and I use the Cricut gold pen. I believe it's a 0.8 to write it on there, and it is just a plain white base card. Now if you look at my photo, I have a couple different versions. One, I drew it on some pattern paper instead of you putting white cardstock in my instead of having it draw it on white cardstock, I just put printed cardstock, some designer paper, on the mat, and I just let it draw it, and I changed the pen from a gold one to a black one. So that's how I utilize this one. On the next one, I used a foil technique, which I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video. But again, that one I changed to a print and cut, and I printed it on pattern paper. And then lastly, we have this one, which I used the pattern feature in Design Space to create something totally different. So let me show you. If you want to add a pattern to this and you're not on an iOS device, you can do that by simply clicking on it, right click and detach, and then click on the base layer, the white layer. You're going to click on it over here in the layers panel. You're going to change it to print patterns, and then you can choose any of these patterns. Let's just choose this one. Design Space is going to think about it for a moment, and then it will fill the shape with the pattern. And there you can see it filled it with the pattern. So if you want to change that pattern, you can click down here on Edit, and you can change the scale of that pattern, make it a little bit bigger. That looks cool to me. And I would probably change the pen color to black so that you can see it a little bit better. And then of course we need to attach that writing to the tag by right click and attach. Make sure that you have both the base and the handmade with love selected, and then click attach. Next, you see we have this Happy Holidays white tag. If we look over here in the layers panel, the first thing we see is that it says flatten. It's one layer, and we see this little printer icon. Anytime you see the word flatten, you know this is a print and cut file. So you can print and cut this just like it is if you want to make a classic white and black file. But the reason I really made this black is because that's what works with a laser printer and the foiling technique, which again I'm going to show you at the end of this video because I did use it quite a bit, and I think that turned out a lot of fun. But if you'd like to make this version of this tag that I made, everything is here that you need, but all you have to do is change it a little bit. So we're going to click on it, right click, unflatten, and then we're going to select the tag. We're going to change that to print patterns, and again you can choose any pattern you want. Let's just choose this one. And these are patterns that I uploaded, but there are tons and tons and tons of patterns in Cricut Access that you can use that are part of your subscription. I'm just grabbing these for the sake of the video because they're at the top. All right, so we have filled that shape in with the pattern. Now this Happy Holidays doesn't exactly match, so let's click on that and see. Look, this is made up of a black circle, so let's just change that black circle to blue or some other color that we thought looked nice with that. And then we can select all, right click, flatten. And now we've made that tag into something that looks totally different. So again, though you see just 4 different styles, you can get many, many, many more styles out of every one of these tags. You could also just delete the Happy Holidays and replace that with something else, the same with the handmade. Let's go down to this one. Now you're going to see I have a couple different versions of this one, and again, I made this one using the foiling technique. So all I did was change this to a printable image. So I just right click and selected flatten, and that made this a print and cut image, which I printed on my laser printer. For this one, I just left it exactly like it is as a cut and then drawn file. If you look over here, this layer is drawn with a black pen and this layer is just set to cut. So that's all I did on this one, but I just put some pattern paper in there and let it draw and cut it on top of the pattern paper. On this one, I used the pattern feature again, just like we just walked through, and that was all I did, and then I flattened it. Let's skip over to this tag. Again, if we look over in the layers panel, we can see that this is writing the words on there. It's writing the red heart, and it's going to cut the base piece. And that will make this version. This has been drawn on, and I just used some pattern paper instead of putting brown paper in there. On this one, I did the same exact thing, only I ran it through the Cuttlebug afterwards and gave it a little bit of texture with an embossing folder. So that's another way that you can change things up. And on this one, this is a print and cut. So all I did was make sure the whole tag was selected, right click, flatten, and now it is a print and cut image over here. You can see it's just one layer now. It's no longer drawing those words and that heart on there. It's going to print those. So again, there are a ton of ways to change these files up so that you can customize them and make them your own. If you wanted to, say you wanted this one, but you didn't want to use the llama, all you're going to do is detach it, take the llama off, add whatever you want. You could put your own name on there, put handmade by, whatever you want to do. You can change these up however you want them. But I just wanted to show you that even though we give you these files, even with Melody's earrings and Carole's boxes, you can change them up just by changing the papers, adding a foiling technique, changing them to print and cut. You can add your Cuttlebug and add some embossing on them, and it's going to really change the look of the files that we give. So now I'm going to show you the foiling technique. To foil, you're going to need your print and cut, and you can see I just print and cut, changed these 3 tags to a print and cut file, and I just printed and cut them on a pattern piece of paper. So once you've done that part, I'm going to use Deco Foil. There's also Mink Foil, but I really prefer the Deco Foil. This is made by Thermoweb. I have it linked in the description below the video, and it comes in a ton of different colors. I'm using this silver sparkle. So all you do is open up your transfer sheet, and some people use a laminator with this. This is totally doable with an everyday office laminator, and you're just going to enclose it in like a piece of parchment paper or copy paper. You're going to put your foil pretty side up on top of the tags. I'm going to close my transfer sheet, and I'm using the Mink, but again, you can use a regular laminator, but I'm using the Mink set on 3. This is regular cardstock, and you're going to run it through. Now, again, if you're using a laminator, that's perfectly fine, but I would recommend enclosing it in a piece of copy paper or something similar. Parchment paper works well. You don't want anything real thick. Again, I'm using the Deco Foil, and this one, it's one sheet, and this one's called Sparkle Silver, I believe. But Deco Foil comes in many, many colors. I just grabbed a few here to show you. There's a number on the front of them. It's either a 5 or a 3 or a 1, and that just tells you how many sheets are in the tube. I get that question a lot. So you can see our foil has made its way through the laminator. So we're just going to pull this out, put it aside, And again, you can do this with an office laminator. And then you just open it up and peel the foil off, and it's kind of hard to see it here, but it's gorgeous in person. So it just put this really pretty silver cover over anything that was black, anything that had the black laser ink, and it only works with a laser printer. It does not work with inkjet. You can see them better in the photos, but I wanted to show you how this works. And that is exactly what I did on all the ones that are gold as well. I just used the gold deco foil view. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go pick up the earring files from Melody. Look at all these incredible earrings that she's created for you. And you saw the set that I made. That's the very first set in her batch that she made, the ones in the upper left. That is the ones that I made. And then Carole's made 4 different boxes for you. So your holiday gift giving is ready to go. All you have to do is cut out the box. And again, think about it. You can cut it out in pattern paper. You could cut it out in cardstock. You could cut it out in craft board. You could do all sorts of things. Acetate would be a fun way to do it. So go grab your box files. Again, there are 4 of them from Carole. You've got several earring sets from Melody, and I've got 4 earring cards for you, but you're going to get much more use out of all of these files than just what we've given you. So thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. And I've got Carole and Melody's YouTube video links down in the description below this video. See ya. Bye.